Hey everybody, so this is my first video blog about my planning of a through hike of the Pacific Crest Trail. I'm planning on through hiking it in 2018. Um, so I decided to do this video blog because I figured that maybe it'll help others in the future because the planning process is very overwhelming. Um, I have about 10 months to get everything planned, and that seems like a lot of time, but it's just, there's just so many resources out there, so much information that you just don't really know where to start. And I guess this first video I'm going to give you guys an idea of exactly where I'm at. Pretty much a basic intro, tell you guys a little bit about myself, and then I'll tell you guys a little bit about how far I've gotten along in the planning process. So I'm 31 years old, born in Newark, New Jersey. I moved down to Texas about 9 years ago, and last year was the first time I ever did any real hiking in like my adult life, and I fell in love with it. I went out to Oregon to meet a friend, and we did some hiking out there, and it just changed my life. I was mostly a city boy before then, and I got out there, and it opened some kind of door up here. So me and my friend were having a conversation a little bit before I came back, and the Pacific Crest Trail came up, and it just, ever since we had that conversation, it's been in my head, and I came back, started researching, and then I decided that I was gonna, actually through hike it. And I decided that last year, and I was actually gonna try to through hike it this year, but things didn't line up. It requires a lot of planning, a lot of saving. Obviously, it's not a cheap, endeavor. So I decided to play it safe and take another year to do to do better planning, and to just get my finances right, save money so that I can eat on trail. It will get expensive, but I'm working towards that right now, and that's actually where I'm at in the planning process right now. It's basically just saving up and getting more wilderness experience, because as I mentioned before, the first hiking I ever did was last summer, so I don't really have much experience, but I've been working on that. Like I said, I did quite a bit of hiking in Oregon, last summer, and then I came back here, and I did some more hiking on the Lone Star hiking trail. I'm in Houston, Texas, so I go out to this trail called the Lone Star hiking trail, and I've been out there a couple times now, and that's where I've gotten most of my wilderness experience. I also flew out to the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee to hang out with another friend, and I did an overnight over there and a little bit of hiking. I was on the Appalachian Trail for about 3 miles, which was just like a dream come true. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, to get myself ready. Just trying to get as much experience as I can, especially with the camping and the camping alone, because that's something that is still kind of weird and a little scary for me, to be honest. The first time I camped alone was at the Lone Star hiking trail. I came back from Oregon, and I read about this trail, and I decided I was going to go and hike it, and nobody wanted to come with me, so I just went out there alone. I had a friend drop me off, and It was definitely out of my comfort zone. You know, it was really dark out there, a lot of weird noises, but I did it, and I had a lot of fun that weekend. And I actually just recently went camping by myself about 2 weeks ago. I went back out to the Lone Star hiking trail, but this time to a different section. And this was more of a real practice hike slash camp, because I loaded up my pack, the actual pack I'm taking with me, with, I think it was at 46 pounds, and I hiked about 23 miles over 2 days with, you know, a full pack and full gear. So it was as close to the PCT experience as I can get right now. And that actually gave me a little bit of confidence. It went well. So, you know, that was definitely a confidence booster. And it's making me want to do it even more now. So that's where I'm at with my wilderness experience, and I'm gonna keep working on that. I have another camping trip scheduled this weekend coming up. A friend's coming from San Antonio to hike some of the Lone Star Trail with me. We're gonna go back out that way. Maybe not a lot of miles, because it's been really hot here these past few weeks. So, we may not get a lot of miles in, but I'm probably going to load up the pack as heavy as I can, just because that's another thing I want to start doing, is getting used to, you know, carrying all that weight on my back. Because the few times I've done, you know, hikes with like a full, you know, in full gear, I've actually gotten bruises on my collarbones, and so I want to get used to, you know, adjusting and like getting the harnesses and all that adjusted the right way on my pack. So I have that trip coming up, and then I have another trip in August out to Oregon again. This time me and my friend are going to go out to the desert, which is good because I kind of need to get some heat training in, because the first part of the Pacific Crest Trail runs through the Southern California, basically all desert, you know, so I gotta get used to hiking in the heat. So I have that trip coming up, and I'll probably do a few more trips to the Lone Star Trail. You know, here I'm sure I'll get some more experience in before I take off. I actually want to thru-hike the whole Lone Star Trail before I take off to the PCT next year, just to get my final, I guess, you know, my final gear list. Just take it out for a whole week and you know, try it out and see what I actually need and what I don't. So I'll use that as like my last I guess practice run before the real thing. So that'll be my last trip before the actual big hike. So as for the planning aspect, there's a lot of information out there, so it's been a little overwhelming. But I do have some planning done so far. I have a rough draft of resupply points, and a list of mail drops. So there's a bunch of towns that run through this trail, and I'm gonna have a friend sending me resupply boxes along the way, and so I've got some of those figured out. But I didn't really know much about this trail until last year. So the first thing that I read was this book here. It's a good book. I wouldn't necessarily say it would be good as a field guide. Not good as an on-trail book. But it's a good book to get started. Because like I said, there's a lot of information online. It's very overwhelming. I mean, you don't know which is the best resource, but this gives you a very good idea of what you're getting yourself into. It's got a lot of tips for day hikers and for through hikers. It's got a list. It's got at the end of each chapter, it has resupplies. Possible resupply points for each of the towns, and it breaks it down through sections, which I like because you can basically I've been using this book and comparing it with the stuff I've seen online. It's basically it's a good reference, and it's a good first introduction to the trail. It's got good info, but like I said, I wouldn't necessarily take this on trail with me. And that got me a little more familiar with what it was I was gonna, I'm actually getting myself into. Now, the second book I bought was this one here. It was, I think like $10 on Amazon, and it basically has it has good info, but what I wanted out of it was the resupplies, basically the list of towns that I'm going to be going through while hiking the PCT. And I've been using this along with a bunch of resources online to figure out exactly where it is I'm going to be resupplying in town and where I'm going to need to have stuff shipped to me. And so that book's been very helpful. I've been thinking about getting this other book called Yogi's PCT Handbook, and that, from what I've heard, has pretty much everything there is to know about the trail. It's even got maps of the towns and like the locations of the grocery stores and how to get to them and all that kind of stuff. So I'm probably gonna order that book this week. Because I came across a $50 gift card. So I'm going to use that. I think the book is priced at $40. So I'll get that, and I'll probably show you guys once I read it and start using it. I'm also going to do a separate video later showing you guys the gear that I have so far, or the gear that as of right now I'm planning on taking with me, because I mean it's my start date's 10 months away, so a lot can change. Right now I'm planning on taking a hammock setup with me, that could change. I might decide to go with a tent. It all depends on how I'm feeling closer towards, to the actual PCT hike, which is why I want to get more backcountry experience, and I want to do more camping, because I want to see which one I'm more comfortable with, tent camping or hammock camping. I do have a tent. It's a one-person ultralight. I got it at REI, and I've used that a couple times, and I like it. It's pretty damn light. I think it weighs like 2 pounds and 2 pounds and some change. And so I liked it the few times I used it, but I've also really liked the hammock setup. I actually sleep in a hammock full time, so it's something that I'm more comfortable with, and I like the camping. I've done more hammock camping now than tent camping, and I've no complaints. I just want, the first time I went out with the hammock, I wasn't too familiar with it, but every time I go out, I get more confident with it. I tie my knots better, and I can I set it up faster. So I'll probably will end up taking the hammock with me for the actual hike next year, and I'll just take a tarp with me, and I'll just pitch that on the ground if I for some reason can't find anywhere to hang. But like I said, that could change later on, because I may decide to go with the tent instead. But like I said, I'll do a separate video of the gear I have so far, and I guess that's pretty much it for this first video. Thank you guys for watching, and oh yeah, one last thing. This week I'm applying for my passport, so that's one more thing that I'm doing towards you know, actual planning. And passports are expensive, yo. I think I'm gonna end up paying like 135 total, but I needed to get into Canada, so and to get back out of Canada. So all right, thank you for watching. I hope I didn't ramble, and I hope you guys understood me, and I hope that these videos will help you know, someone else out in the future that decides that they need to hike the PCT too. So thank you guys, and peace.